If you've been scrolling through endless spec sheets, watching YouTubers hype up every new mini PC, and still feel that knot of doubt about whether you're really getting something that fits your desk and your workflow, this review is here to cut through the noise. You're probably wondering if a tiny box can actually replace a clunky tower or a pricey laptop for the kind of work you do every day. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks testing the GEEKOM A9 Mega in a real-world office setup, swapping it in for my aging desktop, and I'm going to walk you through exactly where it shines, where it falls short, and who should hit the add to cart button versus who should keep looking. First off, the size. The A9 Mega is roughly the footprint of a large book, about 772 inches. That means it slides under a 24-inch monitor without forcing you to rearrange cable trays, and it doesn't dominate the desk like a traditional tower. If you share a workstation or have limited surface area, this is a genuine win. The downside is that the compact chassis leaves very little room for internal upgrades. The 64GB of LPDDR5X RAM is soldered, so you can't add more later, and the storage is a single M.2 slot. If you anticipate needing massive storage expansions or swapping out drives regularly, you'll have to plan for an external NAS or a USB-C SSD hub. Ports are where the A9 Mega starts to feel future-proof. It sports two USB 4.0 ports that double as Thunderbolt-compatible connections, letting you hook up a 4K monitor, fast external SSD, or even a docking station with a single cable. There's also a USB-C power delivery input, a 2.5 gigabits Ethernet jack, HDMI 2.1, and a headphone MIC combo. For most professionals, writers, analysts, graphic designers doing light Photoshop work, this selection covers everything without needing a dongle. The only gripe is the lack of a dedicated SD card reader, which can be a nuisance if you regularly import photos or video clips. Thermals are a big conversation point with mini PCs because you're cramming a high-performance CPU into a tiny enclosure. The AMD Ryzen AI Max Plus 388 brings 12 cores and integrated AI acceleration, and GEEKOM has fitted a dual-fan system that spins up to 3,500 revolutions per minute under load. In my day-to-day use browsing, running Office, occasional video rendering, the fans stayed below 35 dB, barely audible unless you're right next to the unit. When I pushed the system with a 10-minute stress test in Blender, the noise crept up to the low 40s, which is still acceptable for most home offices but could be distracting in a quiet studio environment. Heat-wise, the A9 Mega maintains surface temperatures around 45°C under sustained load, meaning it won't scorch your desk or trigger thermal throttling during typical workloads. Performance is where the AI Max Plus really shows its teeth. The processor's AI engine is designed to accelerate tasks like image upscaling, speech-to-text, and even some machine learning inference. I tried using the built-in AI for photo denoising in Lightroom and noticed a noticeable speed bump compared to a standard Ryzen 5 laptop. For regular productivity, multiple Chrome tabs, Excel pivot tables, virtual meetings, the 64GB of LPDDR5X memory makes multitasking buttery smooth. Apps launch in a second or two, and switching between them feels instant. Light creative work, such as editing 1080p video or designing vector graphics, runs comfortably. You won't get the same throughput as a full-blown RTX 3080 workstation, but for freelancers on a budget, the A9 Mega offers a solid middle ground. Now, let's talk about the scenarios where this mini PC stops making sense. If you're a heavy 3D modeler, a gamer who wants 144Hz 4K gaming, or a data scientist running massive TensorFlow jobs, you'll quickly feel the limits. The integrated graphics, even with AI boost, can't compete with a dedicated GPU, and the single M.2 slot restricts you to one SSD, no room for a separate drive for scratch space. Also, if you need to upgrade RAM down the line, you're out of luck. The soldered memory means the configuration you buy is permanent. In those cases, a small form factor tower or a high-performance laptop still offers better scalability. Who should buy the GEEKOM A9 Mega? If you're a remote worker who wants a powerful Windows machine that stays out of the way, a content creator who needs AI-accelerated photo or video tweaks without a bulky rig, or a student who wants a desktop experience for coding and research without paying laptop premiums, this is a compelling choice. The price point sits nicely between a premium mini PC and a low-end desktop, and the inclusion of 64GB RAM right out of the box is a rarity at this segment. It also appeals to people who value a clean aesthetic: no LED fans, no massive chassis, just a sleek block that blends into any office decor. Who should skip it? If your workflow relies heavily on GPU-intensive tasks, gaming at high settings, 4K video editing with effects, CAD rendering, or if you anticipate needing to swap out drives or memory frequently, you'll be better served by a small tower with a dedicated GPU and modular